Just take a look at this contraption I rigged up to be able to record this. I have a tripod being held with a C-clamp, stabilized by a bungee cord and a strip of zip ties. Every time it snows out, I take care about between 5 and 10 houses every storm, and when I'm done doing this, I have to remove all the snow from the machine, because if I don't, it could freeze inside of there, and if it freezes, the machine won't work if it snows again before it defrosts. So I take a toilet brush and I get everything out of the machine. Today we got about 8 inches of snow. We're expected to get another 4, so I'm probably going to have to do this again. I got my toilet brush here and I get everything off of the machine, because if you put it away wet, it'll freeze up. It causes the machine to rust, and that extra humidity in your garage or shed will make your other machines rust, because it puts unnecessary humidity into the building. All your tools and stuff will start rusting. I gotta get all the snow out of the chuck there. Some heavy stuff, so I'm probably gonna go get another brush. This one's kind of flimsy. This is the brush I like. Get in there, get everything out of this machine. It should be looking super clean. Gotta get everything out of the back there. You should never stick your hand in there, so I use this thing. If you don't have a toilet brush and you do it by hand, you should always remove the spark plug, in case for some weird reason you turn this and it somehow starts. It's clean enough, since I'm gonna have to use the machine again today, because we're supposed to get around 14 or 16 inches of snow today. Right now we're just getting a bunch of sleet. This machine here is almost 40 years old, and it's still working perfectly. About 2 years ago, I had to do a valve job on it because the engine was overheating, exhaust was turning cherry red, and it was causing small fires around the engine, so I fixed all that stuff. And every time you use a snowblower, it's important to grease and oil all the joints. I don't exactly have a grease gun, because this one does have fittings for that, so I just oil the joints manually instead. So today I ran this thing for about 2 hours, used about 1 gallon of fuel, and that's pretty good. Since I did the valve job, I've noticed it's a little bit more fuel efficient. It doesn't create black smoke anymore from high emissions. I always add this treatment here to the gasoline for the snowblower, because it helps the snowblower clean the engine out. And also, I don't necessarily always do it, but ultra fuel is better for snowblowers instead of just regular at the pump. So I take I have these 2 gas cans here, which hold 2.5 gallons apiece. I put about 2 capfuls of this in here, and I bought this thing here at Lowe's for $6. I took this thing down the street and cleared off a bunch of snow-covered storm drains, because the plow didn't get that close, and I had to get in there because it didn't stop the machine, but when I got back, there were so many of these big pine needles just jammed up inside of there because there was a clog on the drain. This is what I've been talking about for a while. In the winter, you're not going to get many clogs because the plows scrape against the curb and they remove the clogs. All that debris you're seeing in the snowbank is because of a clogged drain right there. That drain is now clear. It just has snow on top of it. Once that melts, as you can see, it'll be clear. There's just a little bit of frozen dirt on there, but other than that, it's cleared. You see, even the streets like this, when the plow goes by, some of the snowbank falls back onto this. But that's not going to cause a problem, because you see how some of it's open? When the sun comes out and the road starts melting, it's going to start a stream of water going in there, and that stream of water will help melt open the rest of it. So this morning I'm pretty much walking around looking for drains that are clogged up in flood-prone areas. Like you see here, all the debris in the snowbank, that's because the plow went over a clogged drain and threw it all up on the side. So the plow is beneficial to unclogging drains. This morning I spent a few hours snow blowing, went around the block with the machine. It's a public sidewalk, so I just do it all for fun. Some people appreciate it and they give me a few bucks, and there's some other people, they just give you dirty looks, but who cares? It's a public sidewalk. It's not like I'm just gonna stop doing it. People told me if they give you a dirty look, just put the snow back when you go by. And I don't really care. Take a look at this. The plow went right up against the curb, getting everything there. The 2 inches you're seeing there has fallen since the snowplow went by. Oh, look at this. This is a storm drain that is always blocked because it's on the bottom of a hill. And the plow hit a giant pile of debris, and it looks like the plow driver lifted the blade because it just stopped in place. Okay, so it's got to be right there, and I'm going to unclog it. I'm just going to leave it like that. The plow's going to go by again. You see all this stuff here? It's all leaves that were on the side of the road. And when the plow went by, they all just fell back into the street. This is the kind of place they should be using one of those cone-shaped plows like they have on the highway. Then they'd go by really fast and it would just throw it over the guardrail. I think a regular plow would do that too. I think they just weren't using enough speed. Right here it worked perfectly. So yesterday, before it started snowing, the road was too warm, so it was just melting. Then it froze up and we got our snow. This morning they just plowed, exposing all the freezing rain, and we just got sleet pellets on top of it, creating a really slippery surface. And it's going to stay like that until the sun comes out, because where I live, they're not allowed to salt residential streets because it kills the lawn. They just put down dirt and sand. Some countries, like Canada, actually put beet juice down with tankers. It helps melt the snow. If anyone's interested in that, you should search up using beet juice as snow melt. Unlike the other roads I visited this morning, this road, all the drains cleared themselves with all the warm air coming up from them.